Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Mark, a trainer here at WEX Field Service Management, and today we are covering creating invoices and proposals in WEX FSM. This webinar will cover what a job form is, recommended job form settings. When we say job forms, we are referring to invoices and proposals. Where to create job forms. We'll look at the copy feature versus making one from scratch, converting a proposal to an invoice, creating invoices, taking payment. We'll go a little bit over progress billing if that is a feature that you need to use, and then some job form reporting so you can look at your job forms in bulk. We will do a live Q&A at the end where you can get your questions answered live on stream. And without further ado, let's dive into WEX FSM. Starting off here, really just answering the question of what are proposals and invoices as they relate to your system. And I'm on a job here that I have created, and this is just a job for my customer, Justin. And each job that you have will allow you to create proposals and invoices. All of your jobs that you create will have a proposals and financing section and a invoices and payments section. When you hit the caret or the name here, it will drop down, and any job forms that you have, you will be able to see here. Now, if I want to look at a proposal that I've created, I can click on the PDF icon. And it's been a while since I loaded this, so I do need to log back in. And let's go back to Justin. And this is job 13437. When you click on the PDF, it will open and show you what a proposal looks like in your system. And when you send your customer a proposal or invoice, it will look like this. It will be very professional. We'll have your logo in here, which we'll talk about how to add. And then you will be able to really determine how you want this to look for your customers. But overall, this is the general view of what your customer will see when you send a proposal or invoice to them. Down below, we also have invoices. So that was an example of a proposal. Invoices, you'll notice, look exactly the same. The biggest difference between a proposal and an invoice is that you can't take payment on a proposal. You would have to convert it to an invoice to take payment. But that is just a very base view of what these look like. So in your system, you will create appointments. Appointments create jobs. Jobs allow you to create proposals and invoices. Proposals allow you to convert to an invoice. And then when you are sending a proposal or invoice to your customer, it looks like the PDF that we showed just now. Now, before we get into actually creating a proposal or an invoice, I highly recommend that you go into your system and update some settings to your personal preferences. And we're going to run through all of those settings today. We're going to start by going to Settings in the top right, Jobs, and we're going to actually visit all of these pages. Each of these will do a different thing, make your proposals and invoices look and feel different based on the settings that you set. So we're going to go to business details, contract terms, job preferences, job types, and payment terms today. And whether you're following along or you're going to go to these pages later, I highly recommend you do so. We're going to start with business details. The business details page will have your business name, your address, the email that you want to show up on your proposals and invoices. This is where your customers will reach out to you for your business. And then you can add your logo. So the logo that we saw on proposals and invoices, this is where you add that. You will click choose file, select your image of your logo and drop it in here. You can also update the accent color of your site. Right now, you notice the color you see here is the color of my banner. You can change that to your business colors if you want. Whenever you make an adjustment here, click save. And then this is the information that will show up on your proposals and invoices. Next, let's go to settings, jobs, contract terms. This is the legal stuff. Whether you are running very simple jobs that just require kind of a basic terms and conditions, or if you have a bunch of different jobs that you do and each type of job will have a different contract that you want your customers to sign, you can set all of those up here. This is the home base for your contracts between you and your customer. Click Create New Terms to create terms. Enter in the name of the terms, and then if you already have some contract terms in another document, you can just copy and paste those into here, or you can write them natively right here. And you also have the option to make these contract terms defaults for proposals, for invoices, or for both. As an example, I've got my general terms and conditions, which basically just says you agree that this work was done to your liking. And that is on all of my invoices. So if you set a default, and you can see the green tag here, if I create an invoice, it's going to automatically default to my general terms and conditions because I set that as that default. Same for proposals. If I am running a job where I need to do an estimate, maybe my terms and conditions are different. So I have a proposal contract term set anytime I create a proposal. However, those are just the defaults. If I create an invoice and I know that I need to add maybe something for repair or something for maintenance, I can just update that in the moment on the job form itself. As long as they're here, if you don't have those terms made already, you won't be able to create those on the spot. You would need to add those terms from the contract terms page in order for those to show up on your job forms. Next, let's go to settings, jobs, job preferences. This one is huge. This is exactly what it says, your preferences for your jobs. And as it relates to job forms, proposals, and invoices, do you want your customers to see the location name, the model numbers for items you add from your price book, unit prices, maintenance plan savings? It'll show like a red section that shows the savings they get from a maintenance plan pricing strategy, billing address name, product number, line item amounts and quantities, and then auto generate invoices. Now, this is personal preference. They will be toggled on by default, so you will be showing everything. But let's say I don't want my customers to see the model number of the furnace that I'm installing for them because they'll go online and check the price and then see, have an opinion. And maybe I don't want that. So that's up to you whether you want this on or off. If you toggle this off, that just means that that piece of information will be hidden when you click present to your customer. You'll still see the model numbers and you'll still be able to reference this info, but when you hit the present mode, this is what it will either hide or show by default to your customer. So make your choices. Click save at the bottom. Don't forget to click save. And then next time you make a proposal or invoice, it will take on the defaults that you saved here. Next, let's go to settings, jobs, job types. When you create a job, it's going to ask you, what type of job is this? And you will select from the list you have here what job type it is. Job types are great for reporting. And if you really want to be able to zero in on your data and figure things out from your reports, I highly recommend that you update your job types to match the different types of jobs that you do. For example, if I create a ton of proposals for estimates for jobs, maybe I'm bidding for jobs and I want to be able to go in and look at all of my proposals I've made over the last 6 months for installs. As long as you've been tagging your install jobs with the install job type, then you can do that. So come in here, look at what we already have. There are some general job types that are here, but create new, you'll click new job type, enter the name of the type of job this is. The color, if you are on the schedule page, let's go back just to give you a reference here. The different colors you see of these appointments will be relating to the job type. So I know just because I've set these up, red is service, green is install, purple is maintenance. So if you see a lot of green on the board, you'll know, oh, we have installs all day today. Oh, we got a lot of maintenance today. And so those colors are set from here. And this is just a helpful tool. But as this relates to your proposals and invoices, as long as your job is correct, your job type is selected for that job, when you get to reporting on the proposals report, the invoices report, you'll be able to toggle by job type. Next, let's go to settings, jobs, payment terms. And these are the terms and conditions for payments, specifically, really, how long does your customer have to pay you? And maybe for your single family home residential jobs, you are due on receipt. I do the job, you pay. Very clean cut. But maybe you're working with some commercial companies and you're giving them 30 days, 60 days to pay. This is up to you. You can add and update these payment terms. If you do have payment terms set up in QuickBooks and you're syncing to QuickBooks, those will just automatically sync and you'll see whatever payment terms are in your QuickBooks here in this list. You can set a default. Maybe the majority of what you do is due on receipt jobs, and then you can always update in the moment on the job form itself which other option you want. But it does need to be here for it to be selectable on your proposals and invoices. Next, and I think that might be the last one. So we did payment terms. Excellent. Let's move on to. So there are three more kind of back end settings that I'd like to take a look at before we get into actually creating our proposals and invoices. So we already know, and I'm going to close some of these tabs, what we looked at so far were in the settings, and that helps with what the job forms look like to your customer. But then I highly recommend that you set up your price book, or at least know where you're going to be pulling pricing from in your system. So there's a couple options for this. If we go to more applications, price book, my price book, this is where your price book will live. You will be able to see items in the price book. You'll be able to create folders and subfolders and really organize these. And getting your price book organized in a way that makes it nice and easy for you to search for items to add to your proposals and invoices. This is huge. Now, it does take some time to do this, and I'm not going to fully go into how to build and manage your price book. If you're interested in that, you can actually show up to, we do a basic and an advanced price book session if you want to come learn from scratch how to build your own price book. Or you can watch those on your own time in the Help Center. So if you go to the little smiley face guy in the bottom right, that's the Help Center. And then go to video courses and webinars. And you can look at our webinar calendar if you want to show up to a live event on Pricebook, or you can just watch the replay on your own time anytime you want. And we have two sessions, Pricebook Basics, which is starting from scratch, and then Pricebook Advanced gives you a little more best practices on how you can take advantage of everything Pricebook has to offer here. But I just wanted to show you this. The kind of, if you're noticing a theme here, the way that this software runs is you've got admin pages that allow you to build out items, build out preferences, set preferences on the back end in your settings. When we get into creating a proposal and invoice, which is what we're going to do next, you will see that come into play. You'll see those options. You'll see the price book. And you got to make sure that you're setting your foundation first by setting your settings, building your price book. Any warranties, if you go to more applications, price book, warranties, that's another one, another good one. If you have warranties that you know you offer on equipment that you sell, you can add those warranties here. It can be a manufacturer parts warranty or a contractor labor warranty. And then if you offer maintenance plans, I would highly recommend going to more applications, maintenance plans, and set up your maintenance plan templates here, because then this will be available on your proposals and invoices when you want to sell a maintenance plan. Same thing as price book. I'm not going fully into maintenance plans today, but if you are interested in that, go to the Help Center, video courses and webinars. We also do a basics and advanced version of maintenance plans in our webinars, or scroll down to past webinars, and our maintenance plan sessions are right here. You can watch those anytime you want. It's exactly a one-to-one copy of our live session. Okay, so that's section one. Get your settings set, get your preferences set, get your job type set, make sure your logo's in there so it looks nice on your proposals and invoices, get your price book set up, warranties, maintenance plans. As long as you have that foundation, everything else we're going to run through is nice and smooth, which we will do that now. Let's navigate to my customer, Justin Hernandez. So if you want to look for your customer, you just type their name in the search. As long as that customer is in your customer list, you can just click on their name and it will bring you to their customer page. Now, there's a couple different ways that you can create a proposal or an invoice, but it must be done from a job. You can create jobs from appointments. If I'm on the schedule page and I create an appointment, we can see I made some appointments earlier today. If you hover, when you create an appointment, it will create a job. And then inside that job, you'll be able to create proposals and invoices. But let's say I just want the easiest, quickest way to get to creating a proposal. I can just go to my customer. And right here in the quick actions, there is a new job form, create new job form. We will click on that. You will select where the location is that this will relate to, this job. Create new job. And let's say this is an install. Maybe we're even creating a furnace install, and I want to make a proposal. You can create this job with a proposal, with an invoice, or you can make a basically an empty job folder and you can go in and add your proposals and invoices later. For today's example, we are going to create a new job with a proposal and just click create new proposal. Now we are on the proposal document itself. So let's take a look at this. We're going to start at the top and just work our way down what you have here. So I'm on a proposal. The first thing you notice, this blue text here, we are on the build mode. So this is not meant to be customer facing. We are building this. Perhaps I'm sitting in the truck building this out before I go in to present it to the customer. At the very top left, you can mark as favorite. Favorites come in very handy when you want to copy a job form. So if we mark this as a favorite, it will show up first when I look to copy something. Then you have pricing settings. So if I click on pricing settings in the right corner here, this is what will allow me to update the pricing strategy that I want to apply. Maybe this Justin here was in the military and I want to offer a military discount. As I add items from my price book, it will take on whatever pricing strategy I have set up here. Now, for quick reference, if you have never looked at pricing strategies, if you want to update your pricing strategies, aka your percentage discounts or percentage increases, you can go to More Applications, Price Book, Pricing Defaults. And then from here is where you would set up your markup for your standard price, your maintenance plan pricing, and then 3 modifiers. I've got a friends and family discount and a military discount, and then a upcharge for after hours. Once you have these set here, then when you go back or when you are adding to your proposals and invoices, you would set that pricing strategy right from here. And then you can hide or show maintenance plan pricing, line item quantities and prices, and unit prices from here. If you need to update the tax, maybe I want to charge a 0% tax to Justin for some reason. I can update that here, change the tax very easily. And then if you notice, this little section has the job name and number. Proposal name, this comes in handy when it's time to copy. So if I know that I'm building this, let's say I'm building this for my customer and I say, I'm going to do the same job 3 times this week. I might want to name this, this will be a furnace install proposal and click save. If I want to assign a technician, I can select that. Let's say Dustin is the one who was running this. And now if I look at my reports later, I can pull up invoices by technician and see all the invoices that Dustin created. Maybe give him a commission for some of the invoices or jobs he's done. Custom field, some of my customers don't use this. Some of them require this, and this is just a field where you can add anything you want. Maybe there's a license number that you need to have for a commercial job visible somewhere on the job form, and you can add that here. Now, this is a proposal. So we are thinking in terms of we're making an estimate that we're going to show to our customer. We want them to approve, accept or deny this. And if they accept it, we would move forward with the job, do the job, and convert it to an invoice. We're going to do an example of that right now. So if I am charging my customer for a furnace install, then I need to add an item from our price book to show that so the customer can see. So I'm going to click add item and then type, this is going to pull up all of your price books that you have. This may look a little different if you don't have Profit Rhino. If you're not syncing to QuickBooks, you may not have as many buckets here, but let's show you this actually first. From Pricebook is your WEX FSM internal price book. That's the one we looked at earlier, and you can update your folders and add items and really customize your price book, and those items will show up in this tab. If you have Profit Rhino, the flat rate price book extension that you can get in addition to your normal subscription, it's an add-on, but it is definitely worth it if you want to save some time and you do charge flat rate pricing. This is an entire catalog that has names, model numbers, descriptions, pictures, residential and commercial pricing, all built in, the pricing updates from the industry standard of your area. So this is very handy if you're interested in something like that. And then if you use your QuickBooks item list, when the sync is turned on, you will see a one-to-one comparison of what's in your QuickBooks item list and what you see here. Now, there's two main ways that you can search the price book. One would be, I know exactly what I want, and I'm going to type that here. I need a furnace install. And because I set up a furnace install in my price book, I see it here. So we're going to click and add that to the queue. And then another way you can search is by going to your folders, which if you set up your folders beforehand, it makes it very easy to look at what you need. So, oh, I need an install. Let's go to my installs folder. I need a furnace install specifically. Let's go to furnace install. And then here is that product that we searched for earlier. Once you have the product that you need, you will hit add item. Once an item has been added from your price book to a job form, it becomes unique. Change it to whatever you want, and that will not affect the original product in the price book. I can click on the name to make any edits that I want. And there is a toggle for taxes. So this little T right here, if you don't want to charge tax, you could just toggle taxes off very easily or turn them back on. But we have our furnace install here. Maybe when we're talking to the customer, we let them know like, hey, it's going to be probably just over 6,000. You know, talk it over with your spouse. Let us know. Is this something you're interested in? They come back, they say, we need the furnace real bad, but we just don't have the money right now, so maybe we'll do it in the future. Great opportunity for you to offer financing. And you will offer financing right here by clicking select a financing product. Choose the financing option that you want to sell or offer your customer and tap save. This is another thing that you would want to set up ahead of time. So you would set up financing from settings, subscriptions, and then payment options. This is where you would sign up for financing. Same thing as price book and maintenance plans. If you are not sure about this, you can show up to our financing webinars or look at the, just watch the replays, and that would be video courses and webinars. Scroll down. And then we actually have a video course on this as well. Multi-lender financing right here. Or where is offering financing? Another great one right here. Super detailed on how this entire financing process works. But today we are focused on proposals and invoices. So we've already got that set up. You would add it. It joins the proposal as a recommended item first. The customer says, oh, that sounds great. I can afford the monthly payments. let's go forward. You would click continue to apply. And now you would be working with your customer to fill out this information. You can send this to the customer. They can fill it out on their own. If they're standing with your field technician, and they can just fill it out on their device right there in the moment. But you would essentially click start application. Allow your customer to fill out that application. It is an instant approval, so you'll know whether they're approved or denied on the spot. If they're denied, they will get a message from the lender letting them know why. If they are approved, then it'll be approved and you'll be able to move forward with the job. Now, usually you do need to go forward through that. So let's get back to our job here. I think, oh, was it this one? Yes, furnace install. There we go. Okay. So that is how to add financing to a proposal. Now, what if I want them to sign up for a maintenance plan? You can sell maintenance plans by adding them to the proposal. And then when you convert to an invoice, the customer can pay for the maintenance plan right through the uh, by paying for that invoice. We're going to recommend a maintenance plan right here. Choose the plan we want to sell. Let's say we're going to sell the Comfort Club plan and hit save. Same thing here. It's going to add it as a recommendation first. Then customer says, yep, I definitely want to sign up for the maintenance plan. You'll click sign up now and run through the sign up process. As long as you have your template set up really nice, this process is super easy. Nothing needs to change. We're selling, in this example, the Comfort Club plan is $100 a year. We're going to come out twice a year. Between January and June, we'll do the AC cleaning. Between July and December, we'll do the heat cleaning. And then make sure this is the person who will be available to reach out to whenever it's time to schedule their maintenance visit. And then payment. We know we're going to take payment on the invoice. We're going to add it on proposal first, and then we'll take that payment once we convert to invoice. So we'll hit done here. And you'll notice that has now been added to the product section and included in the price we are selling to the customer. So we've got our items here. We're going to scroll down. You can also add recommended items. So let's say that your field technician is on location. We are selling them a furnace install. We got them on the maintenance plan. We're going to do their first visit probably next month. But I did notice that your filter could use an exchange. I happen to have a filter on my truck. It'll be 20 bucks. Want me to go ahead and do that for you today? Recommended items, they're a great way to get the ticket sizes, the revenue that you get increased per job. To add a recommended item, tap add recommended item, and you will pull this the exact same way we looked at earlier. So let's say I need a filter. I'll just type filter and we'll sell them this Honeywell filter here. When we go to present mode, you're going to see that this is in a different area. This is in a recommendation section. So it's not actually adding the price just yet. If the customer agrees, yes, let's do this. I will pay for the filter today. You're going to tap the thumbs up icon and that will add it to the product section, which you will then charge the customer for that. If they say, no, actually, I've changed my mind, let's go ahead and take that off. Hit the down arrow. There's a little down arrow in a circle. Tap that. And that'll put it back in recommended. So you can add recommendeds, take them away very easily. Proposal notes are customer facing. So this is going to be anything you want your customer to see. You could even throw in a thanks for your business in here. Or, of course, anything they need to know about the job. And then we talked about contract terms. The proposal contract terms have defaulted for me here. But if I need to update them, I can do that by choosing a different selection. And we have a place for the customer to sign. So we can go to present mode by clicking present. And if you notice, this will then change a little bit. This is a little cleaner. It throws your logo in here. And then you'll be able to see the price at the top, the total. It shows their savings, taxes if included. Uh, this savings that's showing here, this red bar, you might be like, what is the savings from? That is from Justin being a maintenance plan customer. So maintenance plan discounts will just automatically apply to your job forms if your customer you're servicing is a maintenance plan customer in your system. Scrolling down, let's say you've talked through with the customer, they say yes, let's go for the furnace install. We will get a signature from them. So they will say, I understand, and put their name. This will be their signature, and they accept the proposal. So we'll click accept proposal. Your proposal has been saved. And now we can see this furnace install proposal is signed. And just a little pro tip, most likely you will not be sitting in your office with your customer at your desk like we are right now. So this is what I'm showing you here is the desktop version. This whole process that we showed exactly can be done on the mobile app as well. Yes, it looks a little different because it's on an iPad or a tablet or your phone, but the process that we just did is exactly the same. The buttons have the same names and it's in the same order. So very similar if you're going to be doing this out in the field, or if you have a desktop device like a laptop with service, it will look like this. So maybe you will be turning your laptop around and showing what we showed today to your customer. This part in the process, we need to convert to an invoice. So we will hit convert to invoice. And this will be total proposed amount, convert to invoice. And then from here, as long as everything is the same, no changes need to be made, you're good to go. Make changes if you need to. And then we have some options for taking payment. Now that this is an invoice, we can take payment. Pay now will process through WEX FSM and send the money to your bank account. Record payment is if you're going to process outside of WEX FSM. If someone's paying with cash, that would be a good example. You're not going to process cash through your device, so you will need to take that to the bank. However, we need to record that that happened. So that's where you would use record payment. You can also send this to your customer by clicking send, and that will make it so your customer will get the job form, approve it, and they can pay and sign online wherever they are. If you want to delete this completely, you can click delete. Let's record a payment. So we're going to tap record payment. This is just, it will let you know whether it's signed or not. This is saying this has not been signed. But that's fine. We can just bypass it. It won't prevent you from taking that signature. We have the amount. Scroll down. Since we sold a maintenance plan, this is saying that a portion of this payment will be paying for the Comfort Club plan here. And then let's say that the customer decided they'll just pay with a check and record payment. Of course, if you go through the financing option and they get approved, you would be able to then use the money from the loan to pay for the invoice. All right. And there we have it. We have our invoice here. We have our payment here. And this is a completed job. Now, we've got two more sections before we get into our Q&A. We're going to quickly go over progress billing and then look at some lists and reports so you can see your job forms in bulk. I do already have a progress billing job pulled up here. And for this, I'm just going to show you kind of an example. Now, progress billing, not everyone does this, but it is very helpful to have this feature if you need it. Let's say you have a job that you know you're going to be working on for 6 months. And over the span of 6 months, you will be doing a job in phases. This is a very popular way to bill in new construction. You set up the job first. And so this would be, whatever big job I have, name it as such. Then you will create a proposal, and that proposal will include the entire job. So if we look at this proposal, look how I set this up. So I made the proposal and I'm thinking this job's going to cost $40,000 for the customer, and we're going to do it in 4 phases. Name each phase, create a line item for each phase, put in the details, and really you're just mapping out the entire job here. This is the proposal you would show the customer. They say, yep, let's go ahead and do the work. And now you have a proposal that you can then bill out per phase. If you want, you can create those progress invoices right when they accept the job and it's approved, and you would be able to convert to invoice 4 times and choose for this example, we're doing 4 times. You would do it whatever percentage you have set up for that job. And let's show an example. If I click convert to invoice, the second option is the progress billing option. So I can do a percentage of the total proposed amount. For this, we're doing it in 4 phases of equal percentage, 25%. And then it will spit out a $10,000 invoice in this scenario. Now, this is red because I've already done this, but you would convert to invoice multiple times from the same proposal, once for each phase you're charging the customer for, and each by percentage. Now I have 4 progress invoices that are 25% of the total. And as I complete each phase, I'm just sending this to the customer so they can pay it. When you create that invoice is completely up to you. If you want to let the proposal sit and you'll create the invoices as you're charging them, you can do that. Or you can pre-make all of them, but I do recommend, if you're going to do that, that you update we're going to go in. You're going to want to update the due date. That way it doesn't mess with your accounts receivable aging. So to do this on any job form, here is the due date. Sorry, right here. So if you're going to create all of those invoices, maybe the first one is like due on receipt, but you'll want to go in and update these due dates to a time in the future so that doesn't mess with your reports. Okay, so that's an example of progress billing. And last but not least, let's look at some reports. To get to reporting, I recommend going to the reporting in navigation. So in your main navigation, right here, it says reporting. Click on that. And then the reports that I would recommend for job forms would be the proposals report is a good one for your proposals. And then for invoices, I would go to the receivables report under accounting. Proposals will show you all of your proposals in your system. It will also track your close rate. So you create a proposal that's seen as an opportunity. If it gets declined, that will be an opportunity lost. If it gets approved and you do the job, that will be an opportunity won. And it will show you those ratios and you can see your close rate. How many jobs are you making the invoice or sorry, making the proposal, and then how many are you actually converting to a job and making money from. Then you can select your date range. Maybe I want to push this back to March, see all my proposals, and it will update your totals up top here. For invoices, invoices, that's how we take payment. And if you're the one who is in charge of taking payments and making sure people pay their bills, this is going to be your best friend. From here, you can select a date range. So right now I can see for the month of April, we have a little over 16,000, almost 17,000 of invoices. And the question you may be asking yourself is, who owes me money and how can I get them to pay their bill? What I would do is go to payment status, overdue. That means these are past their due date. And just to give you a better example, let's push it back to March 1st. So since March 1st to today, we've got over 170,000 outstanding. So we need to get people to pay. You can click select all, send invoices, and send. And it will send a payment reminder out to every customer that owes on their bill. And it's really nice when a lot of people pay their bill all at one time. Sometimes people just need a reminder. Okay, so there you have it. That is all the information we have for today's presentation. I hope you guys learned something. We're going to switch to our Q&A now, but before we do, I just want to say thank you for joining. My name is Mark with WEX Field Service Management, and this has been Creating Invoices and Proposals.